listed them. That's during my time.
In other words, Commissioner Faeldon, by practice, you you did the verification of the office address. Reason why you were able to discover this 4,000, which accreditation you deleted already.
We tried our best to clean the list, Your Honor.
You also mentioned about business permit, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So it discloses the company name and even the company owner. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
And would you agree with me if I would say, with the bank certificate, with the office verification, and with the business permit, the BOC has ample information about all the importers into the country?
That's the assumption, Your Honor.
What do you mean by assumption?
If all those documents are truthful, that's why they have to personally verify.
What we're talking about here, with respect to the actual practice and system and not with respect to assumption, Commissioner Faeldon. So I suppose that all the information that you're giving before this committee were practiced at least during your time as Commissioner of BOC. Tama po ba?
Ma'am.
In other words, during your time, Commissioner Faeldon, all importers' information are within the safekeeping of the BOC, considering the ample requirements that you are requiring initially for purposes only of importers' accreditation.
The newly accredited importers during my time, I specifically instructed the chief of the Accreditation Management Office to be very stringent, not stringent, but to be very careful about accrediting, because at that time we were delisting more than 4,000. So we do not want to replace them with another erring importers and brokers, Your Honor.
In all fairness to you, Commissioner Faeldon, because you were the one who deleted this 4,000 because they are not compliant with your requirements and your rules, it is the humble submission of this representation that having applied that system, then you have all the necessary information about the importers accredited by the BOC. That is a manifestation. With respect to the documents which you are requiring from the applicants for importation or importers accreditation, question Commissioner Faeldon. Alam nyo ang pangalan ng importer? Of course.
Hindi po. It's the company that's listed, not all the time the owner, ma'am. So we cannot really say that we know the owners of the importers, but the
So
names.
it depends. If the importer is an individual,
Yes, ma'am.
you will know the identity of the person.
The AMO office may know, Your Honor.
Okay. But if the importer is a company, then at least you have the name of the corporation. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
And for you to know the owners of this corporation, I wish to believe that you required also the articles of incorporation and the GIS of this corporation who applied for importers accreditation. Tama po ba yon?
Yes, Your Honor, the usual business requirement.
That's actually what we do kapag ka ang applicant ay corporation. Normally, even for purposes of business permit, ang kasunod po nating hinihingi is articles of incorporation along with the general information sheet. Do you agree with that, Commissioner Faeldon?
Yes, Your Honor.
O balikan ko po yung first question ko. You have the means to know kung sinong importer, whether he's an individual or a corporation, considering the documents that you are requiring during the importer's accreditation process.
Verifying the documents in the office, I think the customs has the means to do
Yes.
that.
Yes.
But going actually to check on the offices, that is where the customs lack the capability to personnel verify some 12,000 offices nationwide.
But at least you were able to delete 4,000 up to out of the 12,000 accredited importers because you said earlier, because of verification process, you found out that this 4,000 are not compliant with the requirements. Some do not have the necessary office address. Tama po ba yun, Commissioner?
Yes, ma'am. And some of those who were delisted were frequent violators of import laws. So I check in the database who are the importers and brokers who have violated some importation laws in the past, and I immediately included them on the list to be delisted in our accreditation, Your Honor. So that's another parameter why we delisted them, Your Honor.
Either kulang ang requirements or nagkaroon ng previous violation.
Yes, Your Honor. And of the 4,000, not one of them went to court and contest their delisting of their company in the
No one
accredited.
attempted to question why they were
I cannot
deleted.
I cannot remember even one of them who went to court and question their delisting from the accredited, Your
Sir,
Honor.
balikan ko po yung documents na nire-require nyo during importers accreditation process. With those documents, you can determine also the address of the importer, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
With those documents, you can determine also the contact details of the importer, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And with those documents also, you can determine also what type of business does the importer conduct.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you can also determine the affiliations of this importer.
Outrightly, I suppose the AMO should be doing a due diligence, AMO office, in checking the affiliations of this, or this applicant has been previously delisted, a company under his name or her name has been previously delisted. Those are the assumptions that the AMO office has to do due diligence in checking those circumstances, Your Honor.
And with those documents, sir, definitely we can determine also the nationality of the importer.
Of course, because
Yes.
there should
In
be a
conclusion,
nationality
sir,
written under the SEC or DTI registration, Your Honor.
In conclusion, Mr. Faeldon, if I am an importer, generally speaking, it is very difficult to hide basic and important information from the Bureau of Customs. Do you agree?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. I wish to direct my next question still to the BOC. Commissioner Faeldon, are you aware of this shipment number MCLU 61881?
I'd like to request Your Honor to please refresh my memory. I cannot remember that, ma'am.
MCLU 61881 pertains to the 6.4 billion smuggling of shabu, equivalent to 604 kilos of shabu, in which case Mark Taguba was convicted for smuggling of shabu by the regional trial court. That is MCLU 61881. Kanina po, Commissioner, you said, you admitted with the documents which are being required during importers accreditation, walang kayang itagong information ang importer sa inyo. Now, the question is, sino po ang importer nitong 6.4 billion na shabu?
Hindi ko na po matandaan, ma'am, kung sino po yung importer niyan. That importation has been a subject of a long court litigation.
I understand, Commissioner, but this is an incident which really shook the BOC, especially during your term. Tama po ba yun?
Yes, ma'am. If I may...
And of course, the first question that you wish to be answered, considering na may nakapasok na 6.4 billion na shabu, sino ang nagpasok nito sa Pilipinas? I want to refresh your memory, Commissioner Faeldon. Walang makakapag-import without the importer's accreditation. You likewise said, what with the ample requirements which are being required from the importer, walang kayang itagong information ang importer from the Bureau of Customs. Now, we are talking about this specific shipment that pertains to 6.4 billion of shabu, which shook the Bureau of Customs and even your leadership of the BOC when this shabu was apprehended in the Valenzuela warehouse. Question, Commissioner. This is something na hindi mo dapat nakakalimutan. Sino po ang importer nito?
I would like to be given time to check on who's the specific importer of that shabu, ma'am. But the sequence of that apprehension, I can relate to this court,
If
Your
I
Honor.
may interrupt, Commissioner Faeldon, would you agree with me if I would say that as head of the BOC, nalusutan ka ng 6.4 billion na shabu, nakapasok sa bansa, that is equivalent to 604 kilos, di ba? The first question that will pop up in your mind, sino ang nagpasok nito? Because you are answerable during that time, at least being the head of the Bureau of Customs. I find it strange that an incident as big as this during the time ay makakalimutan nyo po. This is something na hindi nyo dapat makalimutan because it casted doubt to your
Your Honor,
leadership as head of the BOC.
Ang alam kong nag-import, sila Taguba. But I want to be corrected if hindi po sila ang nag-import niyan. Nagparating sa bansa. Yung importer mismo, in the packing list, because this is, ma'am, if I be given just 1 minute to explain this, so that you are correct, ma'am, the nation has to know the truth about this. You may agree or disagree with me, ma'am, but please give me a chance to. Because this has been tackled by the nation in 2017. This importation, ma'am, the existence of a possible shabu that came into the country was relayed to us by Chinese customs. I received the information 10 o'clock in the evening. By 2 a.m. following day, that's just 4 hours, nahanap na po namin kung naasen siya. So that's why I beg to disagree that nakalusot po sa amin. Hinanap ko po, ma'am, because I was given the information that there's a shabu, possible shipment of shabu, na galing sa China. And the information was given to us. So I give instruction to the intelligence division. I give them the information and they look for it. So that is how this shabu came in. At nahanap po namin, ma'am, not a single kilo went to the streets. I think yung sinasabing nalusutan, yes, I take the responsibility since 2017. But if you read the Customs Modernization and Tariff Act, there's a clear delineation of the tasking of the commissioner and the customs collector. And in that law, it's very specific that only the collector has the right to release shipments. So of the 38 ports, it is impossible for the commissioner to check every shipment. That's why it is delineated to them by the law. The verification and authority to release all those shipments does not rely on the commissioner anymore. It is now on the individual port collectors. So, but when I received the information that there is a possible importation of shabu that passed through customs, it took us 4 hours to locate that, ma'am. And I want to take that as something that I did good, contrary to the perception that I let it go. I did not let it go, Your Honor.
Commissioner Faeldon, let me complete the context of my question. When this representation made use of the term nalusutan, nahuli niyo yung shabu, pero hindi niyo nahuli yung importer. And today, I am asking you, sino ang importer? You cannot even say. An information which is supposed to be highly important because of the huge amount of prohibited drugs which were apprehended by you. Hindi ho ba quite strange yan na hindi nyo matandaan or perhaps you did not bother to check sino po ang importer nito? For me, Commissioner Faeldon, it is not enough that you apprehended the shabu. You should have arrested the people responsible for the shipment of shabu as well. Kung parehas nyo pong nahuli, yung shabu at yung tao, you might be correct. Hindi po kayo nalusutan. Pero nahuli nyo yung shabu, hindi nyo nahuli yung tao, I hope, with all due respect, you will understand why I use the terminology nalusutan ang BOC.
Yes, Your Honor.
So
let me go back to my question, Commissioner Faeldon. Would you like to...
Mr. Chair, in the indulgence of Congressman Luistro, hindi yata sinagot ni Commissioner Faeldon kung sino yung importer. Please tell us kung sino yung importer.
I will tell you immediately after I get the name, Your Honor. I do not want to be saying person here na hindi pala siya. I want to make sure that siya po yun, sir. I am asking someone to...
Then you do not
have it
even know
verified
right
to me.
now? You're not even sure right now? Ba, pambihira naman buhay ito. You should be sure right now. Kung nakahuli kayo ng ganyan, hindi nyo alam kung sino yung importer?
Sir, gusto ko lang sana ma-verify talaga, sir. Kasi
Well, you
I
better
cannot
tell us
remember
later
the
on who.
specific name anymore, sir. So,
Because look, you'll be accountable to this. Nakahuli kayo ng shabu, inamin mo. Pero hindi mo alam kung sino yung importer.
sir, within the day, within this hearing, I will name kung sino po yun, ma'am. I just want to make sure that
Thank you, Mr.
I will
Chair.
get
Thank
the
you,
correct name, Your
Congresswoman
Honors.
Luistro.
Yes.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, please
if I may
proceed.
continue. Sir, medyo naputol po tayo dun sa importer's accreditation. Let me continue that line, Commissioner Faeldon. Kung meron na pong importer's accreditation, then the importer can actually start facilitating the process. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what importation documents need to be submitted this time to the Bureau of Customs?
There's a packing list that's supposed to enumerate the items and the quantities of these commodities to be imported from other countries.
Aside from the packing list, sir, ano pong documents pa ang dapat isubmit sa BOC? This is the importation proper already. The importer already secured the accreditation. So, mag-i-import na siya. What documents need to be submitted to the BOC? You mentioned about the packing list. What else, Commissioner?
The specific term, ma'am, I cannot mention it, but these are the invoices of these commodities from the corporation or from the manufacturer. You get these commodities. This is to attest that the amount you specify there is correct. Dito po yung invoice from the manufacturers where these commodities will be coming from, Your Honor.
The packing list contains the description and the quantity of the goods, correct? While the commercial invoice contains the value.
The
of the
value,
goods.
ma'am, because this is where the tariff will be computed once these commodities arrive in the country.
And
Your
when
Honor.
you say tariff, it means importation tax.
Yes, Your Honor.
Does it include bill of lading, Commissioner?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ano po bang nilalaman naman itong bill of lading in the interest of the Filipino people?
Until you physically open the commodities in their packaging, it is very hard to assume that these are exactly the same as it is stated in those documents, Your Honor.
Yes, but with respect to the document bill of lading itself, what do we see from the bill of lading?
The shipment where these commodities will be coming in.
Can you please cite the information we see from the bill of lading?
Yung mga anong barko siya nakasakay, what are the containers, so that this can be tracked.
Containers, reference number?
Yes, sir. Meron tayo. Ma'am, meron yang, these are international numbers that can be tracked by all customs agencies in the world. Kaya po meron number itong mga containers na to.
Pag sinabi niyo po bang tracking number, ito po bang binanggit ko kanina about the 6.4 billion shabu, MCLU 600, 1881, ito po ba yung international tracking number?
Yes, ma'am. That's why our Chinese counterpart gave us that number, and we were able to trace where that truck was delivered.
You are saying that the information, the source of your information is your Chinese counterpart.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, what other informations can we get from the bill of lading, sir? We have the international tracking number. I suppose we can see from the bill of lading the name of the shipper, the
Yes,
name
ma'am.
of the importer.
The date that's supposed to the arrival of these
How
commodities in the
about
country.
the country of origin,
Exactly, ma'am. It's part
country
of
of
it.
destination,
Yes, ma'am.
the port of unloading,
Yes, ma'am.
the consignee,
Yes, ma'am.
and the shipping line.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we determine through the bill of lading also the people facilitating the shipment here in the Philippines, apart from the importer, like for example, custom broker?
The brokers. Pardon me, but I am not real particular if it's the brokerage is part of that, or it's a different transaction that a broker
So you
will.
are not certain. You are not certain. If
Yes,
the
ma'am. I'm not
broker's
very sure
name
whether
is
it's the
indicated
broker is
also.
included there. I'm not sure, ma'am.
Saan po ginagamit, sir, yung special certificate or permit? This is among the documents which are being submitted to BOC. Saan po ba ginagamit to? Saan goods ito applicable? Or what kind of importation requires special certificates or permit?
I think some government importation.
For example po,
The importation of some government requirements that does not require payment of tariff, they may have different and special importation permit, Your Honor.
can we cite as example firearms and ammunitions if the Philippine government, for example, is importing some?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ano po yung special permit na tinutukoy doon?
The specifics of the permit, I cannot.
And that permit is issued by the Philippine government?
They have to get. There's so many government agencies that they have to pass through. There's an approval from the Philippine National Police, from the finance. When you get this special permit, it's a multi government agencies that approves that permit, and Customs Commissioner is not part of those who will approve it. It's secretary levels and multi-government agencies, Your Honor.
Halimbawa po, mag-import ako ng luxury vehicles. May special permit po bang kailangan doon?
I would like to report back to you, ma'am, if importation of luxury is required to have a special permit. But second-hand luxury, not allowed, definitely, is, except when there's specific, I don't know if there's specific law that allows importation of second-hand or slightly used luxury, but I would like to revert back to you, ma'am, if importation of luxuries requires special permit, Your Honor.
How about if I will be importing high-end branded garments or bags? Special permit required din po ba?
I think the brand owner has to have a certificate that this specific, let's say, Hermes, are we talking about? Yes. They have to certify that these are genuine.
So the certification being referred to here is issued by the company of the high-end brand.
Yes, ma'am, because if this brand came into the country without those certification, they are subject to apprehension, Your Honor.
I have this information that among the importation documents also is the classification of goods. Do you confirm this?
Yes, Your Honor.
And among the classification of goods, kasama po dyan yung general merchandise.
Yes, ma'am. Diyan yung general merchandise po, yun yung medyo magulo kasi there's so many commodities that's classified general merchandise. So diyan po tayo nagkakaroon ng maraming problema sa ating peer. Sa ating
Can you
port.
please enlighten us, Commissioner? Ano po ba yung problemang na-generate nitong classification na general merchandise?
Mag-import ng, let's say, mga non-branded sapatos, mga damit, pero hahaluan na yan ng kung ano-ano na high-end commodity or prohibited commodities. Usually, dun sa general merchandise, tayo nagkakaroon ng problema. So, pinapasok na nila dun yung mga kontrabando. So, hindi siya nakalista dun sa packing list nila. Talagang dun sa general merchandise, yun po yung madalas maabuso nung importer. And the brokers, sometimes the brokers, they really don't care kung ano yung laman ng containers. So, yan po yung nagkaroon tayo ng, that's where the corruption and so many other problems come into play, yung sa general merchandise. Your Honor.
Commissioner, I will go back to you. Mr. Taguba, I remember during your previous testimony, you made mention of general merchandise in relation to TARA system. Can you enlighten us on this?
Your Honor, yung general merchandise po, iba-iba po kasing may-ari nun. So,
Iba-iba ang may-ari.
Opo. Yung isang container, pwedeng may footwear, pwedeng may kitchenware. So, iba-iba. Hindi naman siya kontrabando, pero hindi siya dinedeclare kasi mahaba eh. Pag i-declare mo siya, ang may-ari ng container, ay yung may-ari ng produkto, sobrang dami nung laman ng isang container eh. So, hahaba yung ililist mong items. So, ang ginagawa, pag general merchandise, pipili na lang ng ilan na papayagan naman ng BOC. So, yun na lang i-declare.
In other words, mayroong nakalista, mayroong hindi.
Yes. General description po.
And for some whose intention really is to engage in importation of contraband, sinasadya nila na gamiting classification yung general merchandise para mailusot those which are prohibited.
Magagamit po siya sa...
Like
ganun
shabu.
din. Pwede po.
Yun bang 6.4 billion, if you still remember, Mr. Taguba, was it classified also as general merchandise?